What's up? It's about like 1:20 a.m. and the balance patch adjustment preview just came out. So I've seen a bit. I couldn't help myself. I scrolled down a little bit. I already saw who the characters is. So let's just kind of see. They buffed ARAVI. What? That is crazy. I did not think ARAVI was gonna get balance patched or buffed at all. I was joking about it on stream a lot, but she has gotten buffed. Architect Alaika, Zio, Ran, Zahhak, Shuri, and Hasol. What a weird range of characters. Let's just start with that. We have a bunch of cleave characters and a bunch of super tank down characters. Well, by tank down, it's like mostly like ARAVI, Hasol. But let's just get into the changes because I've seen a bit of it. It's kind of spoiled myself, but let's just get into Ravi's first. So, first things first, increases penetration resistance by 30%. So that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, she just has Illinov's passive now, which is really, really good. It means that she doesn't die to, like a Ross. She doesn't die very easily to a Freeran. Actually, wait, no, she does die to a Ross because Ross just steals her. Never mind, she still dies very easily to Ross, but she lives. But since there's so many things that penetrate defense, like there's crowd, there's you still have, actually you don't have Genoa anymore. You have your crowds, your Freerans, you have your Straze, which can actually be used against Straze. Oh, that's kind of crazy, actually. She can be used against Straze. I did not think about that. As an alternative to, Monkey Boy, to the Monkey King, she could actually be used against Straze. So, I think this is a pretty big change overall. It does take away her critical hit chance, but you can see down here, her imprint concentration is now critical hit chance. This might be a bit annoying, obviously, to build for people who just got her or don't really have much imprints. Luckily for me, I have an SSS imprint, so I'm sitting pretty. But yeah, now she has a crit imprint to kind of make up for that and increase penetration resistance. I'll take that any day of the week. So much more tankiness. So, and her S3, this is kind of a crazy change. So mostly left intact for the most part. But when an ally dies, grants War God to the caster and resets cooldown of the skill. That means you can just hit this skill. You don't have to wait, you don't have to bide your time, it's just gonna hit. And War God, the unique effect, it increases defense penetration of Deliverance Soul Exchange by 50% and it's dispelled after the effect activates. A huge boost to her damage, 50%. This shit already hit really, really hard, so this is pretty damn good. But let's just get to the other characters. I don't want to spend too much time on one person. So Architect Alaika attacks the enemy and increases combat readiness of the caster by 20%. Damage dealt increases proportional to the caster's speed, so a little bit of extra damage to her S1. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And for S2, mainly the same, but now it grants increased attack and immunity to the caster for 2 turns. And after using the skill, when an enemy is inflicted with a target, it grants an extra turn instead. So that actually changes a lot of interactions. It means she doesn't get gimped by AU Fiend or Politis, which is pretty crazy. Of course, the other, like argument you could say that kind of gets rid of is it gets rid of it makes beat on viable against her, which is like whatever, so that's like a weak argument anyways. But what this does is that not only does it allow her to bypass the AU Fiend Politis check, but it also allows her to work with Saria for anybody that's even excited about her. Maybe that's a win, maybe whatever, but it allows her to get through that. But what I'd say is the biggest change is with her S3. So it attacks all enemies, and when the enemy is defeated, inflicts extinction. This is so powerful. This is so powerful. It's not even a joke. It is so powerful that it inflicts extinction now. And plus, she still gets her attack up, by the way. They took away her attack up from her S3, but they just put in her S2, so it doesn't even matter. It's so powerful that it extincts. So maybe ML Yoha won't be as crazy. She probably will still be crazy, but having Alaika as another extinct option that will kill no matter what, well, I guess maybe you have like an Ilinov and Warfare Penetration passive, maybe not, but this is a very, very strong effect now. I'd say she definitely, after this buff, will definitely have a place. Just having Extinction in your kit is just so good, man. It's just so good. But let's move on to Zio. I honestly wish they did not change this unit, but here we are. So at the start of the first battle, increases combat range by 30% instead of 20%. Why? Why is this needed? Why? There's no reason for this. There's no reason for this, man. He's already gonna take the turn no matter what, so I don't know why they increased it by 10%, but I guess now you can build him like way slower. But the biggest thing is this S3 now has Soulburn, Ignore, ER. That is so big. That is so big because that just means you can't. Well, for me, it's big for me because whenever I fight Zio, I always use like H's. Now I can't. I just can't because she just ignores ER and just kills me. So what do? I can't do anything about it. So this sucks. I don't like it. I don't even know if we should have buffed Zio, honestly. This character, he's not crazy strong, but he's still viable. He's still usable. Compared to all the other MO5s they could have buffed, why Zio? It just didn't really make much sense. So I don't really like this buff. It's just kind of toxic that now he just ignores ER. But I mean, it is what it is, you know. You can't do too much about it. So moving on to Ross. Did I just say Ross? Ron. So the S2, they took away the skill nullifier from his S3 and moved it to his S2. So it grants immunity to all allies and skill nullifier to the caster. So I think this is pretty good because it kind of messes up with like Celine. Sometimes I don't know if you would still pick Celine into Ron because usually, well, I guess you still would, but I guess this is to kind of also combat that because if Celine goes into your Ron, at least he won't die now. But whatever, that's just a neat little like interaction thing that is the only thing I can think of. But the biggest change is his S3, which now inflicts Frostbite and Restrict for 2 turns. They got rid of Stigma, and a critical hit will have an 85% chance to inflict decreased defense for 2 turns. This inflicts 3 debuffs. 3 debuffs with Frostbite and Restrict. So this is really big. Frostbite is really big because of so many Lady of Scale comps going around. Frostbite basically negates that. If I remember correctly, Frostbite ignores damage sharing and damage mitigation effects, which is super big for any cleaver. So maybe Ron will actually be back in the meta because honestly, having an AoE Frostbite on the entire team with his S3 still being able to ignore ER is really big. This is incredible. So, and also just having Restrict as well, it's just like, it's so much more better. So I think you'll definitely be seeing a lot of play. This unit is kind of crazy. It's gonna be kind of crazy for cleave teams, I believe. And then we have Zahhak. So this one, this one's a bit of a weird one. I believe this is his S1. Yes, this is S1. Okay, I just searched it up. Yeah, so yeah, his S1. So his S1 now is a increased hit chance and critical hit chance. Or it now increases hit chance and critical hit chance by 50%. So that's really big. Or well, not. It's nice. It's nice. Not super big, but I say it really helps him to stay as a evasion killer. And obviously, he is meant to be used against Setsuka because as we look down here on his S2, now it increases by 30% instead of 15%. Dispels 2 debuffs from the allies, grants increased attack and increased hit chance to the caster. So he will have, I believe, increased hit chance is also like 50%. So he'll have a 100% chance to hit with his longsword. Now obviously this is big. I'd say this is pretty big. He was one compared to him and last rider Karin. Zahhak was the way more easier unit to build because he had so much extra stats with the increased hit chance. You could build him so much more easier. I think this is pretty big. This is basically just swap over your last piece Karin build to Zahhak at this point, honestly, because it is way more better. Okay, then moving on to Shuri. So I don't really know too much about OG Shuri. I just know he's like just a good speed imprint, but they got rid of his poison and instead damage dealt increased proportional to the target's max health. A critical hit will double the amount of focus gained, so essentially he'll be gaining 2 focus. And at the start of the first battle, he gains 3 focus. So alright, that's pretty cool. They got rid of all of this. They got rid of his focus is 3, enhance his S3. Instead, now it decreases combat readiness by 30%. When focus is full, consumes all, increases damage dealt, ignoring ER. So I don't really know how much this really changes about him, because you need him to get 2 turns. You need him to S1 into an S3. So I don't really know how good this will be, considering that you probably would want this, first. But I mean, cool, I guess. It's whatever to me. But moving on to Hasol, this one was a pretty surprising one. I didn't actually think they were gonna buff her, but with so much counter attack in the meta, this buff is kind of crazy, I think. So at first they increased the amount recovered from her S1, the amount because she would recover HP whenever she dealt damage, and now for her S2. Increases additional damage dealt of Swift Cut and Punishing Strike by 1,500, and additional effect can stack up to 5 times instead of 4 times. So, if you bring out the old calculator here, I'll just use Google. 5 times 1,500 is 7,500. If you can stack this up to 5 times, your S1 and S3 will be hitting 7,500 fixed damage, which is pretty damn good. Which is pretty damn nice. Of course, honestly, Hasol does get gimped very easily because of Mei, Chloe, and FCC. So I don't actually know how good this change will be to Hasol, because just fixed damage in general isn't really the best, especially with those 2 units. And for her S3, they also had they took out the barrier and just gave her like immunity, so cool, I guess. But I like this change. It does make her more stronger, but I don't know if it's enough. I don't think it's enough. That she's still gonna get pretty gimped like very easily. Obviously you're supposed to pick her with Setsuka. The only problem is that Setsuka is usually picked with Mei Chloe, but then again every unit's picked with Mei Chloe, so it doesn't really matter. The fact is that Mei Chloe is in every game, so picking Hasol is still very difficult, and I don't really know if this is enough. I think she needs a specialty change. Honestly, she needs a specialty change that gives her something more unique that will hopefully bypass like Mei Chloe and FCC. Whatever this is, they just increased the damage reduction for mature sunglasses. Cool. 7% more damage reduction is pretty sweet. And then they changed target. They changed the effect of target, which is like what Veronica has whenever she puts in the debuffs. She puts target on the she puts defense. Well, either ways, it's the thing with like, I'll show the icon on screen, but instead of decreasing evasion by 15%, it decreases by 50%. I don't really know what how many interactions are going to be changed, but I do know that they changed it to be this way for Alaika, because Alaika works with target debuff. For S2 she inflicts target, so now she will work with evasion characters. So obviously they made that change specifically for Alaika. I don't know about other units or whether or not it's gonna change interactions, but it's mostly for Architect Alaika. But yeah, I think overall kind of a whatever patch. it is what it is. It just sucks that we just have to wait for so long for patches that, you know, just only get like a handful of units when really we need more. We need more to shake things up. This won't really shake too many things up. I will say it will definitely scare away more Setsuka comps. There's so much evasion denial in this. It's kind of nice, but it doesn't really deal too well with the main problem of RTA, which, you know, every fight is just so long. It's like tank down is so slow. I don't really think this helps too much, but we'll have to see. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.